rental?
No, because we rented a Toyota Sienna, which is the Toyota minivan, for the last trip we did a month ago, and it was great. So, like, it had all these great features.
Why don't you rent the same car? Why don't you rent the same car?
Well, when you rent from a rental, it's kind of like you say minivan. It's like a whatever the hell they have.
You're the customer. You tell them what you want.
But yes, but we kind of wanted to try different ones because we are on the market for a minivan. So we wanted to try some different ones. And
I've owned 2 in my lifetime.
You know what? It's easy to sit here and criticize minivans, but I'll tell you what, for the 2 trips that we've had, like having that much space, and it's just so comfortable and easy to drive. And when you have kids and having 2 sliding doors and in the back, and it all is automatic with your key.
You've already been brainwashed.
No, it's so nice.
I'm surprised you would get a minivan, Jay, since you almost died in a minivan. Your mom almost killed you.
Everyone almost dies.
You were remember you were sitting in the middle seat, and you had your seatbelt on. Your mom thought, "Okay, I'm just going to lower the seat."
That's
so
right.
And it literally was choking you. Or I had to pull the van over
like
to get
sandwich the seat. Yeah.
So Jay was like, his mom going, "I don't know what's wrong here." And as Jay turns purple, so I carefully got over to where I could park, and then took my time getting out.
No, minivans are great. It's the size of an SUV, but it's lower to the ground, so you actually have the full space.
I'm sorry,
it's
Jay.
awesome.
You can't come onto this show and say the quote, "Minivans are great."
They are.
Because they fucking are not.
He upgraded it to awesome. They have no storage.
It's all storage. We've like the new ones, Jack. So the back row seats, right? You basically like pull a little lever and they fold down into the bottom of the van. So now you have like all this extra space in the back, or you can take the seats out and move them around.
First time we got a minivan, I went to you had to put a crib in there, all this different. So I go, where the hell am I supposed to put all this stuff? So eventually, I took out the middle seats, and that's how we had all the room in the middle of the van.
Another flaw of that Aerostar was you only had the sliding door on one side. Now they have sliding doors on both sides. And then there's this big space. And again, it's all automatic with your key. So you're like, as you're walking up to the car with, a bunch of bags, your kids in one hand, you just press the button and the doors open up for you.
That way, a carjacker doesn't have to actually carjack you anymore. He just jumps in as the car's opening. So that's perfect.
Guys,
but again, what carjacker is going to want to steal a minivan?
He's too far gone.
But the thing is, minivans are
invested in this thing.
Minivans are a perfect target though for theft though, because you have those big old windows and you can look into them, see all the crap you got in there, and just break it and steal everything you got.
They are easy to break into because I had to break into mine one time.
But
Jay, I've been trying to get Colleen, Mike, and me both trying to convince Colleen to get either a Tahoe or an Envoy or something like that, because the big SUVs are much better safety wise, you get better gas mileage.
Hell yeah.
SUVs don't get better gas mileage than a minivan.
Yeah, you're right on that one, Jay.
It depends on but like they're just a better vehicle and they have better resale value than a minivan does.
I would be willing to spend. I would be willing to get 7 to 8 miles per gallon less to keep my balls.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Here's the other thing. This is I'm keeping my car, so this is an additional car that's going to be like the family carrier essentially. So. It's not like I'm giving up my GTI, my fun little sports car, but it's an actual car.
So it's screw Colleen. She has to get.
No, I told her she can keep her RAV4 if she wants to. It's not worth that much, so we can just get the third, van, and that'll be like our family carrier essentially.
Yeah, I don't know. Like just the safety in minivans is really horrible. And how
is safety worse in a minivan than an SUV? That's not a thing.
Because in a minivan, you're basically sitting on the engine and you have 1 foot between the back doors and the back seat, and there's nothing on the sides. Whereas in an SUV, you have the engine in front of you and like a good 4 feet of storage in the back.
My Suburban, when I was driving my Suburban, remember I got hit by the Dodge Ram truck?
Yeah,
nothing happened to me. The car was smashed in, but nothing happened.
But so I've driven big SUVs, a Suburban. I'm telling you what. Minivan is just a better experience than an SUV in terms of getting your kids lugging a bunch of crap around. The minivan's a nicer experience.
All right, so here is the top 10 safe family SUVs or vehicles. Number 1, Honda Pilot. Number 2, Hyundai Tucson. Lexus RX.
There you go.
The Mazda CX-5, the Subaru Crosstrek, the Subaru Forester, the Subaru Outback, and the Toyota Highlander. Not one of those is a minivan.
You're not. You can't.
Are
I'm
you
telling
getting-
you.
But,
Are you
but you're
getting
searching
any power?
SUVs, though, aren't you?
Huh? What's that?
You were searching SUVs, though, weren't you, Chris?
No, that list might have been SUVs.
Yeah, exactly.
just type in top 10 family vehicles. That would be already better.
I bet because we're looking.
I did.
We're looking at the Honda Odyssey or